Hey, this is Matthew with some hobbies I tried. This is the after work decompress. Today, I was listening to Rob Zombie's visit to Joe Rogan Studios, and they were talking a lot about horror films and a little bit about music, but mostly it had to do with, or a lot of it had to do with his path to success, I should say. And something I always find really interesting is a lot of people who have achieved a lot of success have very similar stories. You know, they talk about how, yeah, I was just kind of screwing around with this thing that I like to do, and I just kind of kept doing that, and eventually someone gave me a little bit of money and for doing that thing, and that little bit of money turned into a little bit more money that turned into a record deal in his case, which, you know, the guy declined 3 record deals because he wanted the record company that he wanted, which sounds like lunacy to me, but like, I also kind of get it. Like, success doesn't always come easy, and it doesn't necessarily come from the places where you think it's going to come from. I have never heard a great success story that began something like, well, when I was little, I asked my dad what I should do for a living, and he was like, you should become a dentist. And so I made a dental empire. Or, you know, anything of that nature. That's never the story of what success looks like. The story of what success looks like is, I was really into making music that no one else liked. And I just kept making music that no one else liked. And all of a sudden, people started to like my music. You know, like, every single rock star's story is, yeah, my dad wanted me to go into the family business, but instead I started a band and now we're Van Halen or whoever the fuck. Like, it's important to follow your passion, because if you follow your passion, you're going to follow through. For the longest time, my passion was being in the military. I know that sounds a little silly. I have pretty simple tastes. I knew from the time that I was a tiny, tiny child that I wanted to go into the military, and I wanted to do something in the military, and I did it. And I did it for most of my adult life. And I'll tell you what, it fucking sucked. It fucking sucked a lot. I'll talk about that at some later date, but it didn't suck so bad that I didn't do 16 years. So, and it's paying off massive dividends for me now. Like, my wife and I are starting a venture, and we just found out that there is a permit that's required, and between the permit price and the taxes, it's going to be like $5,000. And I said, honey, don't worry about it. We get a tax exemption from our county because I am a disabled veteran. And she was like, oh, that's gonna cut this in half. And, you know, when I joined the military, it did not enter into my mind that someday I would be disabled, for one, and second of all, that someday I would be using that disability from the military to leverage the tax burden for the goals and opportunities that I'm pursuing. That was not part of my goal in pursuing a career in the military. My goal in pursuing the military was, I wanted something that I could shoot guns and be outside and just kind of be a dude doing. And as it turns out, the military is not the best place to do that necessarily. But there's these opportunities that present themselves through your passions and through the things that you take enjoyment out of. And sometimes even when you stop pursuing those things, they still pay dividends. I haven't been in the military for probably almost 3 years now, but I'm still getting dividends. I hate the military. I want nothing to do with the military. I want nothing to do with any of the organization whatsoever. I'm still down with soldiers. I'm still down with veterans, all of that. But the actual organization, Army, Navy, Marine Corps, the other ones, like, as organizations, can really go fuck themselves. But I'll tell you what, I'm still getting dividends from my military service. I'm still getting opportunities from my military service, and I'm still using the lessons that I learned through my military service. And I don't care whether what you do is military or playing the guitar, okay? There are lessons to be learned in anything that you do and anything that you are passionate about. If for no other reason, maybe you just learn how to build your compassion through your passion. But do what it is you enjoy doing and learn how to do it better. Learn different ways to do it. Try those different ways. If they don't work for you, just, set them aside for a little while and maybe come back to them later. But if you do that, you're gonna find opportunities where you are capable of maybe making money and doing that full time. The idea will pop into your head. Hey, maybe I can make money doing this. Maybe one of your friends who is watching you do your hobbies is like, I would pay you for one of those things that you're making. Like, I would give you X amount of dollars. And you're like, oh, I can crank out 20 of these a week. If I can sell 20 of them a week for this much money, maybe I should do that instead of fucking gut work. It's kind of my thought. I'll leave you with that for the day. I just got home. I will see you on Monday.